Hi, Kat over at Cohost for another one of our quick tips. I have my friend and Ayurvedic health practitioner, Katrina Svoboda, with me today. She is going to be reviewing, we had to review the last name a couple times because I've never said it. But she runs the Ayurvedic Health Center up in Bellingham, and I have known her for, over a year now. I initially went to her with a curiosity about the doshas, which we'll get into, and wanted to know a little bit more, and then have seen her, I want to say at least monthly ever since. She's a wealth of knowledge on all things Ayurveda. We've done some body work. We've done some mental relaxation techniques. We've done pressure point, pinpoint type stuff. I know that all sounds very vague, but I'm not the expert. She is. So, Katrina, if we could just start with a little intro to Ayurveda. What is it? Where is it from? How does it work?
Yeah. Ayurveda is not little, so that's always like, sure, how can I boil it down?
Just make it quick.
But I can.
Ancient practice.
Bite sizes. So it comes from what is today India. It's at least 2,000 years old. It's a sister science to yoga, and Ayurveda is all about supporting people in health and wellness. And that looks different for every person, in part because everyone is at a different level in their life and a different point in their health and wellness, or they're not health and wellness. But also because Ayurveda works from an understanding that we each have a unique constitution. And so everything that I recommend to a client is based off of that person's constitution. So I could have 10 clients all coming in thinking they have the same thing going on with them, and they would get 10 different sets of recommendations because all of their circumstances are going to be unique to them.
And these constitutions, that's kind of what I was referring to earlier as the dosha, right?
Yeah. So Ayurveda is completely aligned with the rhythms of nature and the cycles of nature. And these are interpreted in part through the three doshas, and they're called VATA, PITTA, and KAPHA. And those are pretty well known. A lot of people know about them. There's a lot of internet information about the doshas available.
One of the sort of ideas, right, is to see sort of the dosha that you are and sort of the levels of dosha that you have, if you're more vata, more pitta, whatever. And then the idea is kind of to start balancing them a little bit, right?
Absolutely, right. So this constitution is kind of like, it's like your balance point. It's your center, it's your set point, whatever might be a nice visual that hones that in for people. And we all go astray. We all go out of balance. That's just life. It's just what we do. And so then the trick of working with me is bringing you back to your balance point. How do we decrease whatever is excessive? And we have a lot of tools for that. That's the good news. These doshas, these constitutions that we have, they're both, they both set us up for success, but they're also our challenges because we tend to do what we're good at. And that's okay. We're naturally good at it. So it's good to do it. But we favor that. And so we end up doing too much of that. And it becomes like a rut or a default. And we get better at it. So we do more of it. But over time, it's too much. And we don't do enough of whatever the other is. So Ayurveda, in part, is a lot about balance and doing what you're good at, but also doing some of the other stuff.
Yeah. How should we all be moving? Is there any sort of standard movement that we should all be doing?
If we're thinking standard movement, I'm going to just go with walking, which seems kind of obvious and maybe a little unsexy and boring. But generally, walking is good for all people. There are a lot of different kinds of yoga in the world today, and they're all applicable for somebody. But I wouldn't say that a kind of yoga is applicable for everybody. So that's why I went with walking.
What are a couple other ones that would be just practices you can kind of incorporate that are for across the board? Everybody can do them easily. Speaking of the mouth, I know that tongue scraping is an Ayurvedic practice.
I was just going to say tongue scraping. Yeah, I love it. Simple, easy, buy a tongue scraper. My preference would be for people to get one from Banyan Botanicals because I think it's just the best one that you can find in this country. You use it first thing in the morning before you eat or drink anything, and it's just a metal curvy thing, and you just scrape off the coating from your tongue, and you want to tongue scrape before you eat or drink anything so you don't swallow this coating back down. It's a sign of metabolic waste in the body, and it's just better to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more. I've been before to your lovely practice in Bellingham, but tell me just a little bit about what would be involved for a new client who is interested in learning about Ayurveda.
Yeah, thanks. So with new clients, I do a 2-hour intake. We do a very thorough health history. I determine your Ayurvedic constitution. We go over whatever health challenges you share with me, and the more you share with me, the better, because it gives me a bigger picture to work with. And then you leave that appointment with some custom tailored to you recommendations that you can put in play right away. And then I follow you for a time afterwards to see how things are going, see what's working, what isn't. There's usually something that happens after our first meeting and the next time. So I'll say, do blah, blah, blah. And then you'll go home and you'll do some other blah, blah, blah. And so there's like, okay, I said this. What did you actually do? Okay, and let's modify that to come more in line with what I think will help you. So there's just this process. There's a lot of education involved because Ayurveda is just a different modality than we're used to in this culture. So I have to explain what it's about and how it works, and I enjoy doing that. And then what we do beyond that really depends on the client and what's going on for them. So for some people, it might just be ongoing consultation work. For some people, it might be some deep tissue body work. For some people, it might be more energy work, like MARMA, the acupressure point work. Mm-hmm. For some people, it might be coaching them around a meditation practice to put into place. I might design a custom herbal formula for someone. We might do some movement yoga work. We might design, depending on the person, like a couple of week-long cleanse protocol. Like really, we have like so much available to us and what we can do.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, it's really fun.
Well, and the word holistic kind of gets thrown around, but in this sense, it is very much that way. You are working on the overall everything. So it's not something that's like, here's what you need to do, and then you do it. This is something, the reason we've been in touch for over a year is because, like you said, you kind of tweak these little things and you figure out, oh, I started doing this thing and it didn't serve me. I stopped drinking coffee on your recommendation because you said that I was doing it too much, and I stopped for a very long time. And then I decided, okay, I'm at home. This is a very, nurturing environment. I want to have a nice cup of coffee. And I did. And it really affected me. I was able to see, oh, okay. And then I've tried several times since to have, a very well-crafted cup of coffee. This isn't just like, at the gas station stuff. And it's still just, it doesn't agree with me anymore. And I think, just saying cold turkey, anything that you need to change is very hard until you see sort of how it affects you and how things change and how your body manages those changes.
Yeah. And so what I'll say to people is, these are my recommendations to you. You have full choice around what you do, but just try them. Like, you have nothing to lose. Just try the thing, whatever it is. And you have a great example of stopping coffee and then trying it again after a long period of not taking it. And now you get to have that experience of, oh, this is what it does to me, not for me, to me. And it's not that good.
So in this time of home isolation, is this something that you're doing remotely, similar to our phone conversation now?
Yeah. So the bodywork aspect of what I do, sadly, is not happening right now. Yeah. And I'm missing it. Like, it's work that it's juicy to me. I love it. So I'm like, hopeful we'll get back to it someday. But yeah, so for client consultations, I'm doing that all online, phone, Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever works for the client. I'm adaptable. All of them.
I was so surprised when I looked for an Ayurvedic practitioner near me here, I live in Stanwood, and I was like, oh, Bellingham, that's so close. Like, I felt really lucky that, because we moved here from New York, and in New York, there are so many people, so there is everything. So I was wondering how far afield I'd have to go from here, and just up to Bellingham, no big deal.
I know, I bought this business several years ago, and so I have the same appreciation, like, this is in Bellingham. I wish, yeah, I mean, Bellingham, Whatcom County, Skagit County, we are very lucky to have this here. And there are other practitioners here besides me. And the community is very, very lucky for all that we offer. It's honestly the only Ayurvedic practice that I know of, literally on the West Coast, that offers the breadth of what we offer. Like, we have so many services and ways that we can work with people. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet little offering that we have here.
I completely agree. And we will link to your website.
Thank you.
People get in touch with you if they have any more questions or want to set up an intro appointment. I highly recommend Katrina and her practice. It has done wonders for me.
Thank you. Well, and I love what you're doing with Cohost
and
Stanwood. You. Like, it's such a great thing in your community. Yeah.
Thank you. We're loving it.
Good.
Well, thank you, Katrina. Appreciate it. And we will put all the links in, like I said, and I will talk to you next week or the week after. I think I have my scheduled appointment.
I don't know. Soon.
We'll call it.
Good. Thank you, my dear. This was fun. I appreciate it.
It was great.
Yeah.